Good evening. This evening is our monthly meeting of the Board of Adjustment. We are committed to a transparent process and encouragement of public comment during our meetings. We will be accepting testimony from all parties. If you wish to testify on any particular petition before us this evening using the Zoom platform, please use the raise hand feature. You can raise your hand at any time and we will recognize you at the appropriate time for the presentation of evidence for each case. If in person this evening, please hand staff your speaker's card. Planner Robin Keefe will be moderating the hybrid meeting and will be asked to provide names of those individuals that wish to speak. I'd like to call the meeting of the City of Wildwood's Board of Adjustment to order. The board members present today are Bob Morris, board member, Arnie Sprunger, board member, Mike Lee, board member, Dave Bertolino, alternate member, and myself, Jared Frank, chair. The Department of Planning staff present is Joe Vunich, director of planning, and Robin Keefe, planner. City Attorney John Young and Court Reporter Courtney Tallman are also present via Zoom. First, I offer into the record of the affidavit of publication pertaining to today's meeting, April 18th, 2024, and take official notice of the zoning ordinance of the City of Wildwood, including Chapter 400, Article 2, authorizing and establishing the Board of Adjustment's powers and duties. Now let me explain the hearing procedure. Please be aware the information I'm about to describe is also provided on the Board of Adjustment's public hearing procedure handout, which was available online prior and up to tonight's meeting. This hearing is informal in nature. However, the meeting's proceedings will be recorded by a reporter for future transcription if needed. The petitions are called in the order listed on the agenda. As the petition is called, I will ask a Department of Planning staff member to read each request into the record. Thereafter, the Department of Planning will have opening remarks and a brief slide presentation. Then the petitioner or his or her representative will be asked to state their name, address, be sworn in by the court reporter, make a brief presentation to the board explaining the nature of the requested variance, and present such evidence and witness testimony that may evidence the practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship that warrant the variance. The board will only consider the unique character of the property to determine whether they warrant the granting of a variance. Board members may ask questions to clarify the facts of the petitioner's presentation. When the board is satisfied with the material presented by the petitioner, the chair will then ask if there is anyone present or online who would like to speak in favor or opposition to the requested variance. Each speaker will be asked to provide their name, address, be sworn in, and then provide their evidence and oral testimony. Procedurally, the petitioner may request a continuance at any time during the hearing prior to a call for the vote in order to bring in additional evidence or testimony. The board may also continue the proceedings. After the submission of testimony and evidence from all interested parties, the board will ask a staff person to provide the Department of Planning's report on this matter if requested by any member of the board, the petitioner, or any individual that is participating in person or online. Once all witnesses have been heard, the chair will call for a motion to grant or deny with or without conditions, then the board will vote. At that time, the presentation of evidence relating to the petition is concluded and no further evidence will be permitted. The board may make a decision today. 4 members of the board must vote in favor of the variance for it to be approved. If a variance is approved, the petitioner has 6 months to obtain the necessary permits or establish the use, or it will expire. If the board's decision is unfavorable, the petitioner has the right of appeal to the St. Louis County Circuit Court. The appeal must be done within 30 days of the decision. Ms. Keefe, are there any questions at this time?
Is there anyone on Zoom who has a question at this time? If so, please use the raise hand feature. Mr. Chair, I see no questions.
Hearing no questions at this time, the meeting will proceed. Please read the first request into the record, which will be followed by a brief slide presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, members of the board, the first item is BA 12-24, Billy Johns, 5338 Mirasol Manor Way, Eureka, Missouri, 63025, care of Doug Nance, Lombardo Companies, 4 Research Park Drive, Suite 130, St. Charles, Missouri, 63304. Request an exception to the specific yard requirements and exceptions for the purpose of constructing a new single-family dwelling upon the property situated at 3320 Whitsett Fork Road, locator number 26V 510179, Carter's Corner subdivision, Lot 2A, thereby authorizing the placement of it within the defined 100-year floodplain boundary and therefore a minimum setback distance of 0 feet in lieu of 50 feet required from it. The design does indicate a low sill elevation will be 2 feet above the base floodplain elevation of Carr Creek. This request is contrary to the requirements of chapter 415.070 and 415.090 NU non-urban district regulations of the city of Wildwood zoning ordinance. And again, 415.070 is the FP floodplain district regulations of the same zoning ordinance. This particular property is located in Ward 6. Mr. Chair, with your permission, I'll also introduce into the record Chapter 400, Article 2, the Board of Adjustment of the City of Wildwood Municipal Code, Chapter 415 of the same City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the zoning ordinance, a file that has been developed and maintained by the Department of Planning regarding this request. And the file includes the department's report with recommendation, and then all testimony, evidence, exhibits, or plats that are submitted as part of tonight's hearing. And then finally, Chair, with your permission, as was explained to you at the start of the meeting, the department received from the Homeowners Association in Radcliffe Place a request to postpone action on this item tonight. The reason being is they are downstream from the particular location, and in 2015 and in 2017 experienced the severe floods from the Merrimack River, which damaged their wastewater treatment plant, their swimming pool, and tennis court. The representative of the Homeowners Association intended to be here tonight and speak. The storm brought a little surprise. A tree fell over the road. It's blocking the road, and as part of the trustee, as a trustee in the Homeowners Association, is having to deal with access right now. That individual requested a postponement. Prior to the meeting starting, I talked with representatives from Lombardo Homes and the property owner and explained the circumstance to them and asked if they would be willing to postpone to next month and allow a full hearing, not hopefully based upon the weather kind of interrupting the proceedings. And I believe the representative, Mr. Nance, would like to postpone, and I've asked him to request it respectfully from the board. And by the way, I do want to extend my appreciation to the property owner for accepting the delay of another 30 days. But if the variance is approved and things proceed, we'll do our very best to catch that time up.
If you could please state your name, address, relation to the property, and then we'll get you
Good
sworn
evening,
in.
Board. Doug Nance, Lombardo Homes, 4 Research Park, St. Charles, Missouri. I'm the developer for the property owner and we'll be building the house for the property owner if this gets accepted by the board.
We'll get you sworn in here.
What's that? I'm
We'll
sorry.
get you sworn in before you start, if you raise your hand.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Please proceed, Mr. Nance.
So board, do request for postponement to the next Board of Adjustment meetings in 30 days. In that time, we will go ahead and reach out to the HOA, meet with them prior to the meeting, and try to address any concerns that they might have prior to that.
Good idea.
Do we want to offer any additional testimony at this time to clarifications?
Not at this time, sir.
Okay.
So the department would respectfully request a motion, second voice vote to postpone. And again, my appreciation to the property owner and Lombardo Homes for accommodating the delay.
Well, I'll make a motion to delay this case until next month.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Sprunger. Mr. Lee? Mr. Morris, how do you vote?
Approve.
Mr. Sprunger?
Approve.
Mr. Lee?
Approve.
Mr. Bertolino?
Approve.
And I approve as well. So we will postpone this variance for till next month's meeting. Thank you. Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. The format will remain the same. Thank you very much for everyone's understanding, and we will look forward to discussing it more next month. Moving right along.
A sunny third Thursday.
Yes, there you go.
Mr. Chair, the next item on the Board of Adjustments agenda is BA 13-24 Woodcliff Heights Trustees 502 Earth City Expressway, number 300, Earth City, Missouri 63045, care of Chris Sokoban, SOI Outdoor Sign Company, 400 Chesterfield Center, Suite 400, Chesterfield, Missouri 63017. Request an exception to subdivision signs for the purpose of installing a new sign face on the subdivision's monument sign located upon the property at 560 Woodcliff Heights Drive, located number 21U 140622, Woodcliff Heights Subdivision, Common Ground 2, which would thereby authorize a sign width of 11.4 feet in lieu of the required 10 feet. The sign requirement is stipulated by Chapter 415.430 subdivision signs of the City of Wildwood zoning ordinance, Chapter 415.120 R1A 22,000 square foot resident district regulations of the City of Wildwood zoning ordinance, and Plan Residential Development Overlay District PRD ordinance number 959, approved by the Wildwood City Council on May 27, 2003. Sorry. This request is also to be reviewed by the Architectural Review Board at its April 11th, 2024 meeting as required by Chapter 415-400 Sign Regulations General. The property is located in Ward 8. Before Ms. Keefe begins her presentation, the department would like to enter into the record the following items. Chapter 400, Article 2 of the City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the Board of Adjustment. Chapter 415 of the same City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the zoning ordinance. The file that has been developed and maintained by the department regarding this specific request and all contents contained therein, including the department's report with recommendation. And then finally, any testimony, evidence, plats, maps that are offered as part of tonight's public hearing. Thank you very much.
All right, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Our second case this evening is located just north of the intersection of Clayton Road and Strecker Road in Wildwood. To the west of Strecker Road is the Woodcliff Heights subdivision, which is a 28 lot subdivision, which those in the audience can see where my clicker is going. The subject of the variance request concerns this parcel here, which is common ground for the subdivision. The parcel of ground in question is zoned R1A 22,000 square foot residence district. It is also, which also has a planned residential development overlay district, which, as Mr. Vunich noted, was approved in 2001 and amended in 2003. The captions may be blocking where the concrete block wall is on this property. But the subject of this variance request does concern this concrete block wall here at the very southern tip of this parcel on the common ground, which holds a subdivision sign upon it. Also on this parcel of common ground is a multi-use trail that connects this subdivision to the commercial development at the intersection of Strecker Road and Clayton Road. This is an old picture of the existing sign of the subdivision at a time when there were 3 lampposts that were placed alongside the sign. These lampposts no longer exist there today, which is the reason for this variance request. The existing sign is recessed into that concrete block wall you see before you, leaving a space there that needs to be filled by the new sign, which restricts its placement upon the wall. The intent of the homeowners association, according to their application, is to balance out this sign now that the lampposts aren't there with a decorative tree accent. Their preferred design, which was submitted to the department and reviewed by the Architectural Review Board, is what you see before you, otherwise known as option A. Here you can see the sign and you can see the decorative tree accent. which takes up about 4 feet of that overall sign width, which is the subject of the variance. According to the Wildwood zoning code, the sign may be 10 feet in width. With this particular sign option, the petitioners are requesting that it be 11.4 feet in width. And again, that tree is 4 feet of that. At the Architectural Review Board meeting, we did have one member who was opposed to the request, but at least 2 members were in support of it, noting that the sign had a pleasing aesthetic and was an improvement over the existing sign face. However, in general, there was a discussion that took place and the board recommended the applicant make the negative space on each side of the sign equal to better centralize it, given that was the intent in the first place. So with that instruction, the sign company came up with a second option for the subdivision, otherwise known as option B. And here you can see a sign which has about equal negative space on either side of it. And that was achieved by making the tree a little skinnier. This tree is 3 feet of the overall sign width, which is just 10.3 feet in lieu of 10 feet. So a smaller variance request, but still a variance request. And I just want to express again that it was expressed to me today that the trustees still prefer option A. This is the existing sign as it stands today, so you can see it without the lampposts. That's just a closer view of it. This is looking northwest at Strucker Road with the sign just to the east there. This is looking across the street from Woodcliff Heights Drive, the entrance to it. And this is looking southeast on Strucker Road. This is a view of Woodcliff Heights Drive as you enter the subdivision. And then this is just a more centralized viewpoint of Strucker Road and Woodcliff Heights around the common ground entrance with the signage. And that concludes my presentation at this time. Director Vunich and I are available for questions if you should have them. You should also have a comment that did arrive today by, I believe, a former trustee of the subdivision that expressed support for this variance request. So please note that as well. Thank you.
So Robin, I know the department is recommending option B. Is that just because it's a little bit closer to the zoning or the sign?
Yes, there are a couple reasons the department is recommending option B, and one is the reason we have an architectural review board is to make these kinds of recommendations and comments based on that expertise. So the department is also reinforcing that part of the process as well, but it also is a lesser variance request. And the trustees have said that they are okay with that option, but it's not their preferred.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
At this time, will the petitioner please come forward, state his or her name, address, relation to the property, and then be sworn in by the court reporter?
Can you hear me?
We can. If you could please state your name, address, relation to the property, and then we'll get you sworn in.
Yeah, the name's Chris Sockleben, and I'm actually with the sign company to do the sign, and it's 400 Chesterfield Center, Chesterfield, Missouri.
We'll get you sworn in here.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please proceed.
The subdivision wanted to replace the sign, and the sign, the existing sign, like Robin said, is set into a recess of the existing. And so they decided to replace that, but then they realized there was going to be a big gap on the left side of it. And when we went to the first meeting, actually, I wasn't aware of the 3 poles that used to be there. I was just actually kind of confused why the sign was offset to the right side. But now that was brought to my attention, that's the reason. But the subdivision would just like to have that, you know, because the sign's going to be in the recess, they wanted to add the decorative tree just to the left side, and they just like something there, so that way it kind of balances everything out. So that's kind of the purpose, but when you put the 2 pieces together, it extends past the 10 feet in length. So that's why we're trying to get the variance for them.
Any questions for the petitioner? Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, just that I think Robin did a wonderful job. So she pretty much explained it probably better than I could have.
She's good at that.
Yeah.
Appreciate the input there. Any members in the audience or online that would like to speak in favor or opposition to this variance?
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak at this time? If so, use the raise hand feature. Mr. Chair, I see no raised hands.
Anybody like to hear the oral presentation of the department's report for this petition? Seeing none. Any final comments the department would like to make?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the department is supporting option B. We do acknowledge the difficulties associated with the placement of the original sign. And again, the department is supporting option B because we believe in the process of the city of Wildwood, which is the reason we went to the Architectural Review Board a week ago. And given that the members were generally in consensus about the negative space on both sides, the department is supporting that position, given that that is a board made up of people who have that expertise. Other than that, it is, of course, the lesser variance, which we are in support of as well. Thank you.
Any final comments from the board? Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Seeing none, at this time, we will close the proceeding for a vote. Can I have a call for a vote to, or motion to approve, deny, or approve with conditions?
I move that we approve the recommendation of the department for option B.
Do we have a second to approve with?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, how do you vote?
Approve.
Mr. Sprunger?
Approve.
Mr. Lee?
Approve.
Mr. Bertolino?
Approve.
And I approve as well. Congratulations. The option B is approved.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business before we close? Oh. We have one additional item of business on tonight's agenda. This is to approve the minutes of the board's March 21st, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second?
I'll second.
Mr. Morris, how do you vote? Mr. Sprunger?
Approve.
Mr. Lee?
Approve.
Mr. Bertolino?
Thank-
I approve. So those minutes are approved. That being said, we will consider this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.